Namaskar. Today we are going to discuss the conditional transfer, the Transfer of Property Act 1882. The conditional transfer deals in section 25 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882. Let's read the bare act language. An interest created on a transfer of property and dependent upon a condition fails if the fulfillment of condition is impossible or if forbidden by law or is of such a nature that if permitted it would defeat the provisions of any law or is fraudulent or involves or implies injury to the person or a property of another or the court regards it as immoral or opposed to a public policy. Section 25 further elaborate through its the illustration in the bare act itself. Let's understand one by one. First illustration says A lets a farm to be on a condition that he shall walk 100 miles in an hour. No one can walk 100 miles in an hour. So this condition makes the transfer void. A gives Rs 500 to B on a condition that he shall marries A's daughter C, and A knows that C's daughter is dead. This type of transfer is also void and an example of impossible condition. A transfers Rs 500 to B or a condition that C shall murder C. We all know that the murder is punishable offense under Indian Penal Code. So this transfer violates the law of the nation. So this condition makes the transfer void. The transfer of Rs 500 to his niece C if she will desert her husband. Again, it's a immoral one. No one could entice anyone to see or he should leave her wife or husband. So this kind of transfer is also void. The conditional transfer, we have gone through the conditional transfers, the illustration and direct language. Let's proceed further about the condition. Condition could be in future event or a current event. So we will deal with the condition precedent. The transfer only takes effect if the condition happens in the future. It's called condition precedent. That's if, for example, one should transfer his house to his boy if the boy graduated from the medical school. So this transfer is valid, and if the condition is fulfilled, the property is transferred to the boys. Condition subsequent. In this condition, the transfer takes immediately but can be revoked or terminated if the condition is not met. For the example, if someone's transfer his property to another person saying that he should not sell this property to some gentleman, so this transfer is valid, and if he tries to sell this property to some gentleman which the transferor had denied, then the condition is not met, and and the transfer remains invalid. Let's further proceed with the conditional transfers. What makes a conditional transfer invalid? Section 25 given several instances where the conditional transfer would considered invalid. First is impossible condition. Anything, any condition which is impossible in nature makes the transfer void. Another thing is forbidden by law. As we all know, the India is governed by the law. So there is a rule of law. So first document for the rule of law is our constitution. Uh, Kesavananda Bharati case created some basic principle doctrine of the constitution. So rather than saying the first document of law is the constitution, we could say that the fundamental structure is the basic first document. No one can challenge the fundamental structure of the constitution. If anything invalidate the fundamental structure of constitution in constitution itself, then it's void. Once any documents, any law invalid against the constitution, means challenges the constitutional provisions, then that law is void. If any order, government order, office order, high court order, which against the law, then that order, office order, high court order, and government order are void. And further, if any agreement made by the individual legal person, it violates the law, then it's also invalid. So we all are ruled by the fundamental basic doctrine of the basic structure of the constitution currently. So anything which is forbidden by law is void. Back to our section 25, anything forbidden by law makes the transfer void. And any provision, any condition that defeating the provisions of law, forbidden by law is the direct impact. Forbidden by law is the direct impact. One should put the condition that if he or she should murder the some D or E, then the transfer take place. It's the forbidden by law. If someone is enticing that, let's suppose the condition, if A has already married to C, and the condition is enticing that A should marry to B, then this is the defeating the provision law. Marrying is legal, but it's defeating the provisions of law because A is already married. So the condition defeating the law is also invalid condition in the under the section 25 of the transfer of property acts. Oh, further we could movement and see the fraudulent condition. Fraudulent condition is always make the transfer void. Injury to others, any transaction which is specifically say make an injury to others, other legal person, then this kind of transfer is void. Immoral or opposed to public policy, any agreement, not only in section 25 transfer of property, any agreement which in general opposed to public policy remains void. So section 25's conditional transfers gives the clear implications that your conditions would be valid, remain valid, and not against the public policy, not against the law, not an impossible condition, not a fraudulent condition. So these 6 points must be remembered while putting the condition in a property transfer or in any act, any agreement, not only in the transfer of property act. Transfer of property act section 25 makes it a valid makes a validity of the instrument of the transfer of property, but any instrument which is executed properly and these six type of condition are put there, then that documents already got vote. So law is sharply clear on this account, and this law, the Transfer of Property Act, come in existence in 1882 and is still valid in our society and gives the uh, clear impact on the society and says that society is safe in the provisions of our law. Some additional conditional transfer consideration we could also think about that. Even if the condition is valid, the transfer can still be challenged or revoked if the condition violates other legal principle or contractual obligation. Certain specific conditions and expression might apply depending on the context and nature of the transfers. So, Section 25 gives the clear implications, ensures the conditional transfer does not lead to unfair harmful situation. It's crucial to carefully consider the conditions attached to any transfer of the property and ensure they are compliant with the legal